Rainbows are everywhere this year. From fashion to crafts, they are trending. I've even got my rainbow shirt on for today's craft. I'm Lilly from Craftbox Girls, and paper crafting is one of my favorite mediums, but I like to make it simple. So today, I'm going to teach you how to quill, and typically you need a tool to make it happen, but guess what? I'm going to teach you how to do it with a paper straw. So here's what you need to get started. I'm using my favorite paper packs from Astro Brights. I've got the Bright Pack, the Primary, and the Classic. You're also going to need some paint, a paintbrush, paper glue, of course, that paper straw, scissors, and a 12 by 12 stretched canvas. All right, let's get started. So we're gonna turn our canvas into a quilled rainbow scape canvas. Okay, it sounds difficult, but I promise it's easy. Our first step is going to be to paint our 12 by 12 canvas. So I'm using a light blue paint, and I'm gonna do a full coat, and you may need 1 or 2 coats just depending on the type of acrylic paint you're using. So I'm gonna take my paper towel and I'm gonna ball it up, and I'm gonna dip it in the white. And then I'm gonna just dab that on my canvas. And again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I left my canvas a little wet so that I can go back if I need to and blend any of this white in if I get too much on the canvas. All right, it's time to start quilling. I'm using cardstock weight paper, but you can also use paperweight. They both will work the exact same way. I have 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. Now, depending on how thick you want your quill pieces to be once they're done, that will determine which side of the paper you cut from. Now, we're gonna do all of the exact same sizes for our rainbow portion, but then we're gonna experiment with some different thicknesses and shapes when we get to doing the clouds and the sun. So I'm starting on the 11-inch side of the paper, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut strips that are 1/4 inch thick. Now, I recommend going 1/4 inch or less. It just depends on how deep or high you would like your quills to sit off of your surface. Next step is going to be to take our paper straw. You're gonna wanna take your scissor, and you're going to insert your scissor into the end of the straw and make a slit. You want that slit to be no wider than the width you cut your sheets of paper. So keep that in mind. You can go ahead and slip it in there just to make sure it can be exactly the same, or it can be just a slight bit wider, but you want those to fit in there nice and snug. We're gonna take the end of our paper, we're gonna place the end in the slit of the straw. I'm gonna hold my straw with my right hand, and then with my left hand, I'm gonna take my index and my thumb and hold the end of the straw. Tight enough so that I don't lose grip, but loose enough that I can twist the straw. And I'm gonna twist it all the way till the end, keeping my finger intact so that it doesn't unwind. I'm gonna take the end tab, I'm gonna place some glue, it's just a small dot on the end, and then I'm gonna wrap that around and hold it a second until it sets. Once the glue is set, you wanna carefully pull the roll off the straw. And you have the perfect quilled roll. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish doing all the red, and I'm gonna do the same thing for each one of the colors of the rainbow. All right, I've got all of my colors quilled for my rainbow. Now, I didn't stick to traditional Roy G. Biv for the rainbow. I did my own take on it and decided to pick some of my favorite colors for my paper packs. So my rainbow is going to start with my Fireball Fuchsia, my Lunar Blue, my Terra Green, Solar Yellow, Cosmic Orange, and Re-Entry Red. Okay, so I'm gonna get my canvas and we're gonna start to assemble our rainbow before we quill the other parts. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and line up all of my different rainbow color layers just to make sure that I get the placement that I want, and then I'm gonna go through and glue them one by one. For the clouds and the sun, we're gonna use some different shapes, and we're actually going to mix and match. What we're going to do to get started for this part is we're using the same 8.5 by 11 sheet, but we're actually going to cut our strips starting on the 8.5 inch side. We're gonna keep them about 1/4 inch thick. We're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna roll it all the way until the end. And then we're gonna place a dab of glue on the end, hold it in place till the glue sets, and then we're gonna go ahead and wedge it off the straw. Now, we're going to use this shape as well in the clouds, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and use your index and your thumb finger to completely smush that circle, and you're gonna get an oblong shape. So that's one of the shapes that we're going to use in our clouds. Okay, shape number 2 is going to be a teardrop. And we're going to roll until we have about 4 inches of our strip left. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it up, and I'm going to create a point. And so you can decide how long you want your point to be. You can vary the sizes of them, but for the cloud, I'm gonna make all of them the same. And then I'm gonna wrap the edge back around here, apply some glue right at the end, hold it in place until it sets, and then we're gonna pull it off the straw. Once we pull it off the straw, I'm gonna slightly let my circle unravel a little bit, and you'll notice we have a really cool teardrop shape. I'm gonna also show you 2 different things we're going to do for the sun before I assemble all of them. So instead of putting my drop of glue on, I'm gonna hold the end in place, and I'm gonna pull it off my straw. I'm gonna slightly let my circle unravel so that I have a larger circle. Then I'm gonna take my glue once I let it unravel as much as I want. I'm gonna add a drop of glue at the end, hold it in place, and I now have a larger circle. I'm gonna make multiples of these to create the base of my sun. For the rays of our sun, we're actually not gonna use the straw. I'm gonna take the same 1/4 inch strip of paper, and I'm gonna move in about 1.5 inches, and I'm gonna fold it. And then I'm just gonna continue to fold over and over again. Once I reach the end, if for some reason you have a little slit hanging off, you can always cut that so it's even. I'm gonna place a dot of glue at the end, and then I'm just gonna push on it on the edges to open it up a little bit, and I have what are going to be my sun rays. All right, let's put it all together. All right, I've got my design laid out for my clouds. I'm now gonna glue all the individual pieces. Check it out. We've got our very own quilled rainbow canvas, and no tools necessary, just a straw. You can shop all of the cardstock Astro Brights papers I used today at your local Staples or at staples.com. And don't forget, you can check out the full assortment of Astro Brights papers at astrobrights.com. Make sure to follow Astro Brights blog and their social media so that you can find other great projects from me and their other makers. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Be kind, inspire someone, and have fun crafting. Bye, guys.